You know, when I started day one of the Daytime Curfew Chronicles, I did it to find something creative to do. And I just wrote something. I put it on Twitter, then I put it on Instagram and on my Facebook page. But I realized it served a very important purpose. It helped to connect people. It helped to make the unusual circumstances a little easier to bear. And it perhaps allowed all of us, each of us, to understand that we're all of us in this thing together. What a way you see me in all my various stages. You see me yesterday, me I sweep up mango leaf. Well, it was ackee leaf. Me have the mango leaf them for to know. But what it also does, this COVID-19 new normal, is to make each and every one of us understand that we need to get back to basics. And what do I mean by that? We need to share who we really are with people. You know, we need to share how we really are with people. And here I am in Jamaica, but many of you are watching this from Canada, the United States of America, from the United Kingdom, and wherever else in the world, maybe Japan and China. And we go through COVID-19 quite differently. You know what I had to come to terms with? I don't live in a big grand house, but I have a house and I have a little yard, right? There are some people who are cooped up in apartments in places like New York, and when they are told to tanner them yard, same like some people here in Jamaica, in some of our crammed communities where people live tight and close, it hard. It feel like you're going to go crazy. In Jamaica, because of our weather and so on, them can come out and stand up on the sidewalk. And of course, if you do that, I also say, obey the police, respect them. But when you're cooped up in an apartment in some first world country, you want to name first world country and have the temerity if you can call it third world. Anyway, so it brought me into this reality. But then I have always been like, I'm a country girl. I come from the rural parts of Jamaica. I'm from Clarendon. So I'm accustomed as a child to getting up early morning to go to spring for water, to cut up coconut to feed fowl, to tie out goat. And some of those things came back to me. You know, getting into your house and staying in there from 3 o'clock any afternoon until the following morning, rather than sit down and say, I am isolated. Why don't you say, hey, there are things I can do. There are things that you can tidy, things that you can look for that you haven't seen for years. You can learn how to cook something new or bake something if you have the ability to do that. And if you live in a different kind of situation, you can sit down and talk to people. I have always found talking to older people, oh my goodness, they have a wealth of knowledge. So whether it's in your own home and you have a grandma or an aunt or whomever, or even on the phone, because some older people live alone, we have to engage them on the phone. When I think about COVID-19, and by the way, this is history, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now, the same way we talk about the 1918 Spanish flu, we're going to be talking about COVID-19. But when I think about that, the closest I have to that is when I used to speak with my mother and my grandmother about World War II. You see, I was born in 1953. And so World War II would have been pretty fresh in their minds. They were thinking of things like hardships in terms of getting food, what was scarce, and so on. And many of the Jamaican folk songs came out of that period too, you know. But here I am. I decided to sit down quietly this morning. And oh, by the way, I'm going to put out the 2-bag garbage yet. They come to decide to put myself together, wear my bandana, my Jamaican fabric, and come out here and talk to you this morning. Because when all is said and done, we, the world, we all Jamaicans, whether we come from uptown, Middletown or downtown, we are all in this thing together. We can't get away. So we have to show respect to each other. We have to be kind to each other. We have to be understanding to each other's circumstances. And we have to know, so sometimes when you look on something, you know, really the way you think it is. Because different people experience things differently. So I sit down outside of the house. That's why I hear a vehicle pass by about 7:35 now, and you know the curfew let up at 7 this morning. So people will be going out to work and they'll be going to visit people in terms of checking on people, I hope, and supermarket and little things like that. But the My Curfew Chronicles. Is amazing how many people have connected with it. So I'm going to upload to my YouTube channel, and then I'll put it from there, link it to Instagram and Facebook and possibly Twitter. But you know, there's a Jamaican saying for everything in this world, and so many of them have come to me since this situation, and as they come to me, I'm just going to share. Monkey must know which part him I go put in tail before I order trousers. Monkey must know which part him I go put in tail before I order trousers. And there's a version, goat must know the size of him before he swallow guinea seed. And what that is really saying, you know, we are in this situation that we have to work out how we're going to cope. How are we going to cope going forward? And another one, some people say them don't know it. Old woman a swear for Callaloo, and Callaloo a swear for run old woman belly. Yep. So we have plans. Oh, we're going to do this in 2020. Here, the back man out there, them nice, you see. We're going to do this in 2020. But we never ever stop to say we're going to do it, God willing, or Dio volente in Latin, because we don't have control over our lives. No more than ever. COVID has made that very clear. Got a man a plan and got a wipe out. That's another thing that we say in Jamaica. But you know, it was just so good to get up this morning, not as early as I did 2 mornings ago when I was teasing up my vegetable garden and listening to the birds. And the rooster was crowing. You hear a dove cooing there. I don't know if you can hear it. And other birds around. And I give thanks. So in all of this, we need to give thanks. In all of this. Some people might say, give thanks for what? Let me tell you something. You see, when you give thanks, you're able to cope better. When I get up in the mornings and I do my devotion, I give thanks. I give thanks to my friends. I give thanks for the opportunity to work. Now, I work for myself, basically. So I have to find new ways of creating employment and using the technology to help me. Sometimes people look at you and don't know your circumstances, you know. Because if I don't work, I don't get paid. You know what I mean? And I know some of you too may be a little concerned about the profile programs that I do for Television Jamaica. I record my programs 2 to 4 months in advance. So at the end of the program, I normally shake the guests' hands. So don't worry, those programs were recorded long before we had to deal with this COVID phenomenon. There's one program that will come on, I think the second Sunday in May, that you will see when we bump elbows, and that was recorded after we became aware of what was happening and the nation took a position. So COVID-19 bringing us together. The dog said down there too. The cat was around, and I know where she got. You know, cats are very independent. So listen now, walk good till next time. Me now sweep up under a mango tree this morning, you know. You know, see how me get up, bathe, put on a little makeup to give a different perspective other than the sweep up yard perspective. I think I may need to go on the road for a little bit, supermarket go. But then again, I don't know. I have a lot of work to do. You know, look, you know, I never find so much things to do in my house. I'm telling you, and I do everything, you know. Me sweep out house, me sweep up on that tree, me dust, me wash, me do. It's a good thing. Me never did things say me too better than that. You turn Faye Ellington, and you are in Jamaica as a radio and television personality. You're an actress of great repute, and so on and so forth. So you can't hold a break and rake up your yard. And you know, we have some falseness about us, and I want to talk about that. Sometimes when I grab my lawnmower, yes, I used to do that and mow the lawn, or I took up my rake or my broom and I go outside and rake up the sidewalk, the verge out there, the little area there, and people pass by and say, and they look at you like, and some people pass by in their nice SUVs and other cars and look at you like, oh, I am so glad I never had that falseness about me, because when these times hit, I just go back to basic. That's who I am. That's who I've always been, and I hope to God that's who I will continue to be. What good? COVID-19 Chronicles. This is Faye Ellington.